have to come over here and make sure you get a little bit of healthy to mix in with your sweets. We'll forgive you this time, though. You gotta stray every now and then. This morning, we're in the kitchen with LaOta, also known as You Be Right, and actually has a wonderful book. I got to read a little bit about it today, but basically we've been talking about staying healthy and keeping your New Year's resolutions to eat a little bit better and get in shape, and that's what you're talking about today, some ways that we can eat a little bit better.
Absolutely. Today we have avocado bio coffee pudding, which is very exciting. It's made with agave, cocoa powder, rice milk, or almond milk if you prefer, and bio coffee, which you can get at Food for Life Supreme on Pritchard Street or in Pritchard, or you can get on the Food for Life Supreme website.
Now, what made you get interested in cooking healthy and writing a book?
Actually, 20 years ago, I have a child who had so many allergies that it was impossible to feed him, and I had some health issues of my own, and it thrust me into the world of having to find out my own solutions. So this is 20 years later and 3 books later.
Awesome. All right, well, we can't wait. All right, so some pudding, and it's just, is it a mix?
This is avocados, if you'd like to taste it.
Okay, of course.
This is avocados, bio coffee, cocoa powder, agave sweetener, and almond milk.
It actually smells really good.
And this is a breakfast pudding, and it's very interesting about the bio coffee.
Very sweet.
It's made with agave, which is really good for diabetics.
Okay.
And all the food today is especially helpful for diabetics.
Now, the avocado also has a lot of vitamin E, good for your skin and things like that,
wonderful, positive fats, very good fats for the body, wonderful for aging, anti-aging.
Oh, we like that.
And it's good fats for you.
Wonderful. So really, really good pudding. And what about calories? Pretty low in calories?
Well, the only thing that really would count would be the sweetener, and the sweetener has so many positive benefits. It works better on the pancreas. It works wonderful for it's slower into your bloodstream. So this is really a healthy, wonderful breakfast, and it gives you a little bit of a boost. The wheatgrass that's in the bio coffee also is a superfood. And as a superfood, this gives you more nutrients and more minerals and vitamins than any other land plant. There's nothing else that's grown on land. This is wheatgrass is the father of all land plants. And seaweed is the one you have even more nutrients because it is, so to say, the largest mineral and vitamin nutritious thing on the planet. It is more researched than any other food. It's another superfood, more research than anything else on the planet. And so is the quinoa, is also a superfood.
So coming up in just a little bit, we're actually going to use the seaweed to make a little sushi roll.
That's right. We're going to use quinoa, which is an ancient grain, and it's a complete protein, has all the amino acids, vitamins and minerals, also very diabetic friendly because it's slow to metabolize in the body and the sugar is slower, so it's really good diabetic friendly.
Wonderful. We can't wait for that.
Yeah.
All right.
Lots of new. So we are back in the Studio 10 kitchen with LaOta with Food for Life Supreme, and we're starting to make these quinoa seaweed wraps, right?
That's correct.
So tell us a little bit about quinoa. See, this is what it looks like actually, but what is quinoa?
Well, quinoa is an ancient, what appears to be grain. It's actually a seed, and it was cultivated in Peru by the Incas. In fact, the Inca soldiers in ancient times used to go to war, and they would carry something called war balls, which was quinoa with fats, and they would eat the war balls on the road where they needed strenuous things, so they would have all the strength that they needed. Also, the World Health Organization has rated quinoa as to be superior or equal to the same quality of protein that's in milk.
Wow.
And NASA is considering for their biological long-term space programs, they're considering quinoa as one of their crops. It's a superfood.
So it's really, really healthy.
Oh, it's great.
I see that's what it looks like naturally, but this is what it looks like when you start cooking it. It's starting to open up a little bit. Tell us about what you're doing here to make these seaweed wraps.
So what I have done is I have added nutritional yeast and liquid amino. Liquid amino is a low-sodium soy-type product, but it's not a soy product. It's a soy-type product. And those are the only 2 ingredients. You cook the quinoa and use it just like you would use rice. And I've added those. And then what we're going to do is we have nori seaweed wraps here.
Okay.
And I'm going to spread the quinoa on the nori wraps. and then we're going to roll them until they look like that.
Okay. Now, if this is something that someone can make at home, where can we find quinoa?
Quinoa is available at almost all health food stores. We bought this at a local health food store here in the bulk section, and you cook it the same way you cook rice, where you use 2 parts water for 1 part grain.
Okay.
And
now,
you can use it in your home as if it were rice.
Okay. So what are the other ingredients that we're making with the seaweed wrap?
What we're going to do is I have the nori wrap. What you see here is mustard, a little bit of sesame oil, a little bit of agave, which is a body-friendly sweetener. It's very friendly for diabetics, as well as quinoa is a diabetic-friendly grain because of the slow way it metabolizes. So there's no sugar spike like you get with wheat or with other grains and flours. This is also very helpful for people who have candidas or any kinds of funguses because it doesn't feed the fungus. In every other situation, grains, rice, and wheat feed parasites and candida in the body.
Wow.
Right, and this does not. This is actually a prebiotic. It feeds the good bacteria and the microflora in your gut, and it's very healthy and makes you stronger.
That's great. It seems like all of these little foods have some sort of a background that keeps you healthy, keeps you strong, and it's good for the body. Is that a little bit that you wrote in your book, too? Tell us about your book. And
as a matter of fact, this is the book, Food for Life, A Guide to Extraordinary Living. And in this book, there's a chapter on quinoa, there's a chapter on coconut oil, there's a chapter on seaweed, there's a chapter on wheatgrass. The book is about how to navigate our way through all of the misinformation and all of the different foods that are coming onto the market that are, some of them are genetically engineered and have been manipulated quite a bit. And there are many foods that are ancient and pure and clean that really work well with our bodies. So the book is about how to navigate through there. And we start the book by talking first about gratitude, because in the kitchen, gratitude is a very important aspect of cooking. Being grateful for what the food is and understanding what it does for you really enriches the food on another level.
That's great.
So it's very interesting, and I'm here in Mobile just for the week, and then I'm on my way to Atlanta.
Okay.
Doing book signings, and I'm happy to be here. Thank you very much.
Okay, well, thank you for bringing us this recipe. I guess let's get started with making it. Okay. And while we're making this, you guys can start looking at our website, the Studio 10 tab at fox10tv.com, and we can get these ingredients. Some of them we have at home, and if you don't have the quinoa, like she said, you can grab this at your local Whole Foods store or a nutritional store.
That's correct. That's
all right, and it looks good. It smells really good too. The quinoa smells good.
It's light and nutty. It has a very delicate flavor. It's very nutty and it tastes very good. It comes in different colors too. This is the red quinoa.
Okay, well, we'll try it right when we come back.
Welcome back. We are in the kitchen with Chef LaOta, also known as You Be Right, and I'm learning all kinds of things today. It's about some healthy things that I need to start eating, and you guys need to start eating too if you've made that New Year's resolution to get a little bit healthier. Now, tell us again what this is and what we're using to make it.
And this is a quinoa seaweed wrap that has been dressed with a nutritional yeast and a little bit of liquid amino, and then it has a sauce that's made with mustard, agave, liquid amino, and sesame oil, and it's stirred together, and then you just pick these up and dip them in the sauce and eat them. And this is what it looks like after you put it on your seaweed wrap. You put your quinoa and you roll it up, and then you just cut them just like this. And it's wonderful. Children love these. You can pack them. They don't have to be refrigerated. Inside it has a little bit of zucchini and a little bit of carrots. And this is a highly nutritional superfood. And so you've got the benefit of the seaweed. And one of the great things about seaweed in the Orient, especially in Japan, people give their children seaweed to keep them from being sugar addicts because it cuts your taste for sugar. So isn't that interesting?
That is very interesting. Now, again, you can get the recipe on the Studio 10 tab on fox10tv.com. You can also pick up your book. How can we get that?
You can get the book at foodforlifesupreme.com, or you can also join us on Facebook at facebook.com/ofthesun.
Okay.
And you can email us, and we're answering health questions, and you'll see all of this on Facebook and on YouTube.
Okay, sounds good. Thank you so much for joining us. We will be right back with more Studio 10.